Young Ahamkara Spine are exotic gauntlets for hunters. The exotic perk is Wish Dragon Teeth. Increases Tripmine grenade duration and marks enemies damaged by the blast. These gauntlets were in Destiny 1. In Destiny 2 they were doing something pretty similar, but they removed the second Tripmine charge and replaced it by marking the enemy's damage by the explosion. Let's analyze this perk. It says increases Tripmine duration. Normally Tripmines last for 10 seconds. With these gauntlets on, they last for 30 seconds. Pretty significant increase. The second part of the perk says marks enemies damaged by the blast. It's pretty straightforward. That's how it looks. The enemies are marked for 30 seconds, which is a pretty long time. It lasts the same amount of time in PvP too. Now let's see when this perk is useful in PvE. Sadly, even though these gauntlets looks really good, I would not recommend wearing them in PvE activities. Not that Tripmine aren't good, they are, but in PvE I was finding myself using them in a way to make instant damage to the enemies around me, like a Night Stalker would use his spike grenades. What this exotic does is allowing your grenade to stay active longer before exploding, and within that time frame, I don't see myself waiting until an enemy goes in a red beam to detonate the Tripmine. When I say instant damage, I mean that I always use these grenades while in combat. Playing the stealth game, waiting for an enemy to cross a red beam is not something I do. In Destiny 1 they were very good since you were getting an additional Tripmine charge, which was the only part of the perk that was useful in PvE in my opinion. It seems like they really wanted to make it useful in PvP instead this time around. I would say that this can be useful when you want to set a trap at a spot and that you already know enemies will come from there. Doors are a pretty good example. Keep in mind the Tripmine will damage you if you're in the explosion. They're not like other grenades that sticks to walls like lightning or spike grenades, which doesn't hurt you when you're in the damage zone. This review is not about the Tripmine itself though, but what this exotic lets you do that you can't do without them. And for PvE, I would say you should use something else since the advantages you get won't help you much. In PvP, that's probably where this exotic will do more for you. Setting some kind of traps can be really useful, but again, you can do that without having these gauntlets equipped. What is different is that the Tripmine lasts a lot longer, which can be good if placed properly. The second part of the perk is what will serve you more in PvP. Tracking enemies is a really good ability, since you follow their movement through walls. The best way to use this exotic in my opinion is to set a trap somewhere that is not too obvious, and when it explodes, hopefully it will damage a player on the other team so you can track him for a certain time. These grenades are pretty easy to see though, and you can shoot at it to destroy it. Like I said earlier, I like using Tripmines during a gunfight and when I'm going to attack someone. My goal is to kill the guy, so the tracking part of the perk is pretty useless and doesn't fit my playstyle much. But if you're more the kind of guy that play passively and like to wait for the other team to come to you, maybe these gauntlets will suit your playstyle. Small tip here, you can detonate your own Tripmine by shooting at it, and sometimes even if the enemy is not within the red beam cone but close enough, he will be damaged by it, and the tracking marker will appear on him. That's it for the review. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, leaving a like would be appreciated. You can also subscribe if you want to see more Destiny 2 content. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.